So I've just finished recording a great podcast with Owen Prime, the CTO of Noggin, whose software is now being deployed across the world in helping disaster management agencies and corporations deal with the pandemic, build resiliency, and start to come out of this lockdown period. And it's given me an opportunity also just to check in and share some thinking I've been doing around where we're at right now as a country. I think the first thing is that we should be enormously proud as Australians of how our country has performed in responding to the pandemic. I think our national government and our state and territory governments, in coming together in a national cabinet, our leaders have shown great maturity in pulling us together, making sure that we respond collectively to this, in keeping our infection rate down and the risk to the population down. We have much to be proud of. There is no rule book for this. This is not something that is easy. And I think it reflects really the balance that we have in our system of government between a strong social safety net and a vibrant private economy, that we're able to come through this pandemic in the way that we have. I think it also reflects well on how our social safety net is built around the ability to provide, for example, a job keeper allowance to help businesses retain their workers even if they can't function or can't operate during a lockdown period using an existing piece of state apparatus. Same with the job seeker allowance, using a unemployment payment mechanism to quickly and effectively get payments through there. And the same goes for so many other areas where our health system has performed. The fact that the capacity of the health system has been able to deal with the level of infection we've had in the virus, and we haven't really hit anywhere near capacity, and hopefully we never will. I think the implication and the implication or the imposition of the contact tracing app that was so quickly and effectively put into play in Australia has been, again, an impressive thing by the Australian government. And yes, there are bugs and there are elements of it that still need work, but they're updating it, they're making it work. I think it will unequivocally help us going forward, and I've downloaded it, and I encourage everybody else to as well. The two other areas I wanted to reflect on really quickly. The first is in the way we are performing in terms of accelerating trends that are already in play. So I think what COVID-19 has done has accelerated things that were kind of already happening. We were already moving towards a work from home model with technology like Zoom and Teams and Google Hangouts. And it's accelerated rapidly as a result of this, which has led to companies thinking, well, maybe we can implement this on a broader basis, particularly if we've got to continue social distancing for some time. The move towards online shopping for basic things like groceries had already started with deliveries and things like that. Again, really pushed out, really accelerated. What does this mean more generally in terms of trends? I think this is going to bear out over time, and I think that's going to create some interesting opportunities and some interesting corporate opportunities. Some really interesting shifts in business models that are happening. Our local bakery, for example, has moved to a retail delivery service, which is before they only did bulk orders for hotels and pubs and clubs and things like that. So that, again, is a really interesting shift in how we're going. I think in terms of this theme of accelerating trends, geopolitics has also come into play here a bit, where we had China and the United States already in a tense sort of situation around trading rules and leveling up the balance of trade, if you want to use the American view of this. COVID-19 has again accelerated that through this, and we're going to now see more tension in geopolitics. And that then brings me to my third point around supply chains. And I want to use a line that Ian Bremer, an analyst in the US, uses, which, if we're going to move from a just-in-time supply chain to a just-in-case supply chain, I think COVID-19 has shown the fragility in some of our global trading arrangements, where you have an incident like this and all of a sudden organizations have to stop operating altogether because they can't get parts and they can't get materials. And for Australia, I think this is a good thing. I think there are some areas where we really should be producing our own goods and services to make sure our economy functions properly. We should review our energy policy to make sure that we are more sustainable in terms of making sure we can continue to function. We should be in a situation where our healthcare system has access to PPE and things like that that can't just be imported from somewhere else but are manufactured on shore. And I'm not suggesting for a second that we should produce everything. No one is suggesting that, but simply that we should be looking more closely at what is needed to make sure we function as a country and that we are well placed to participate in an open trading economy by making sure our basic needs are met. There are also some areas where I think we can improve. There are no reasons, for example, why we should simply be an exporter of raw materials where we can't start to look at how we might elaborately transform such raw materials in country, or that we can't use some of our amazing education or research or research capability to start inventing some of the things that the world can use more effectively in a post-COVID-19 world. And I know a number of Australian organizations are already in the race for the COVID-19 vaccine, including some of our universities. And again, it's a testament to our quality of our education system, which is going through a bit of strain right now due to COVID-19, but I think is one of the key weapons we have in coming out of this period into what is going to be a new normal. So there are some thoughts I wanted to share with you. Encourage you to listen to the Smarter Cities podcast. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or Spotify. Always love feedback on these videos or on the podcasts. I hope you're keeping safe and well, and I'll see you next time.